All right. So tonight we're going to be talking about the most important thing ever, and that's discovering the root cause of your health issues. One of the things that I see in here with people when they come in is they think they've discovered the root cause, but they don't dig deep enough. And in reality, it's very, very, very simple to come up with your root cause. It's very simple. It's not a million different things. It's typically one of 6 things. Now, there are a few other things which we'll go over at the end of class that it could be, but in most cases, it typically is one of these 6 things or more of these 6 things that are making problems in the body and causing your health issues. Okay? So 6 things. You don't have to go to school for 12 years. You do not have to spend $300,000 to be able to do your health from home and actually overcome your health issues. So when I'm talking about overcoming it, I'm not talking about taking a medication to cause the body to suppress something or force it to work. I'm talking about working with the body to overcome it so you don't have to deal with it anymore. Okay, so we're going to go over these main things. I always subscribe to a cleanse and nourish philosophy. Simple, very, very simple. Think of your body as a house on fire. And with that, if your house is on fire, do you want to throw a fireman into it or a carpenter? We want to put a fireman. We want to put out the fire, because if you throw a carpenter in there, he's rebuilding and it's burning down, rebuilding, burning down. And this is how most of us approach our health. When we try to do holistic things, we go on and we Google, what can we do for this? My favorite one is hormones. I have a lot of people come in, they say, my hormones are out of whack. I'm taking ashwagandha. And they think their root cause is their hormones. Hey, Sharon. It's not the hormones. Let's go deeper. What is causing the hormones to be out of balance? That's the fire. Ashwagandha is a carpenter. So we're trying to do, and people will experience a lesser symptoms. They will feel a little better, but that carpenter keeps trying to build that wall and we keep burning it down. And it's just this repetitive process. And we never actually get to the root cause. We never overcome it. We're now looking at our health holistically, but from a medical standpoint. Here's the symptom. What can we take to address it? And we'll take it for the rest of our lives. And we don't want to do that. We want to overcome it, be done with it. So that's really what we're going to go over with tonight is we're going to put out the fires. We're going to find the fires in our body. So number 1, this is one I see pretty much every single solitary client that I see, is food sensitivities. I have some common experiences on here. So these are common for food sensitivities. That doesn't mean if you have all of them, or you have to have all of them to have the food sensitivity. One of the absolute most common ones is if you wake up in the morning and you have phlegm in your throat, you are eating something that you are sensitive to. Okay. Very, very, very common sensitivities. Wheat. I'm not talking gluten. I'm talking wheat. Okay. So when something says gluten-free, we talked about that in class. Flip it around. Make sure that they didn't chemically extract the gluten and there's still wheat in it. Another one is dairy. There was a study done in the 90s. You can find that on my website under resources. Where in the 90s they did a study that they discovered about 75% of the population in the United States was allergic to milk and dairy products. We're the only species that drinks another animal's milk. Because we're told, right, in school, drink milk for calcium. This is where I challenge you. Where does the cow get its calcium? It's not walking over to the horse. It's getting it through vegetables. And that's where we can get our calcium from. We're not designed to have this, especially if you have little children that have a lot of ear infections, sinus infections. Remove dairy. Their body is telling them that they do not like some food, and it's typically dairy in that case. Other ones, white refined sugar is very common. Soy is very common. Corn is very common. So look at eliminating those. and seeing if that's what you're sensitive to. Get a food log. That's what I recommend. If you're not sure, do a food log. Pay attention to your symptoms the next day. If you wake up with mucus, look and see what you ate yesterday. Okay. Now, the protocol. So eat a whole food diet, eliminating the common sources of sensitivities. We have wheat, corn, soy, dairy, rice. Oh, I forgot rice. For a minimum of 90 days. Okay. So you have to remove it for 90 days. That residue can sit in your gut for up to 90 days. That doesn't mean 4 weeks in, you eat a burger with a bun. If you're, removing wheat. 90 days, 100% remove those. We live in a really great time when there are so many alternatives out there for all of these. I mean, like corn, they have cassava flour chips, huh? I was so excited. I had chips and salsa. Now, you can have a food sensitivity test done, okay? If you do things like the Everlywell or the blood work test, what we see is sometimes the body is responding to the fire. Those foods are feeding the fire. You're not actually sensitive to it, but they're feeding the fire. So keep that in mind. We do muscle testing in here, no poking, no prodding, nothing, to figure out what is going on with the food sensitivities. Now, take an appropriate enzyme with your meals and on an empty stomach if you're doing this. We have a variety of enzymes in here. So if anyone wants to know specific ones, I can direct you to those. We have some on our online dispensary, our Fullscript. You can go find enzymes there. But the reason why you want to do that is because that enzyme is going to help the body heal from that food sensitivity. Most people can come back from these if they do the proper protocol. Okay. Now, I'm not saying if you're sensitive to white refined sugar that you should do this for 90 days and then just start eating sugar again. Because we repeat as the definition of insanity, right? We go back to the lifestyle, then it happens again, and over time, then it will come to a point where you don't come back from it. But if you do this, and let's say your grandkid's having a birthday party, or your son's having a birthday party, and you want to eat a piece of cake, you can without suffering the consequences from it. We're able to eat those things in small moderation. In some cases. Sometimes we've done enough damage that it kicks our butt. So when you take an enzyme with food, it helps you digest food. When you take it away from food, it clears the residue. Okay? So that's why we're going to take it with food, help break down that food, and then we're going to take it away to clean out. Let's say we're working wheat. We want to get all that wheat gunk out of our gut. And wheat is a wicked one. Wicked one to overcome. So then, after your 90 days, just pick one food that you eliminated. Don't do all of them, just one, and eat it in bits and pieces over the next few weeks and see how your body responds. Do you get sinus congestion? Is your heartburn coming back? Is your headaches coming back? Whatever it is that you were experiencing on your experiences, the mucus coming back, and that'll tell you if you're still sensitive to it or not. Simple, right? I mean, it sucks sometimes. Yeah. But simple. Active scar tissue
doesn't always mean easy.
No, it doesn't. But it's simple.
Yes.
I mean, here's the thing. Do I want to take drugs for the next 20 years? Or do I just want to remove a food for 90 days? To me, simple. Active scar tissue, that's also really another big one. So a lot of times we develop a scar, and with that scar, the outside tissue will be healed. The underlying tissue inside is not. And so what happens is, let's say my toe is trying to send my brain a signal, and I had a C-section, right? I was cut right across my stomach, and it hits that. Where does that signal go if it hits that? It can fritz out. It can send it to my arm, and this is where we can develop health issues through active scar tissue. With that, if you've had any surgeries, you will want to do this, period. I don't care how nice they look. We want to do this. Our bodies are designed, like let's say we fall, right? And the knee splits open like this. Our skin breaks in a natural way, and it actually will connect and heal back in a natural way. But when you take an instrument and cut the skin, piercings, tattoos, surgeries, the body doesn't have that natural comeback, and those almost always are an active scar. So do your, we'll go over the protocol, but you're going to want to do all your surgical scars, all your tattoos, all your piercings, okay? Now, natural scars can be active also. So if you've been in like a wicked, like, you know, let's say you wrecked your bike and you have a gnarly scar going up your arm, go ahead and do it, right? Better safe than sorry. You want to do, any scars that maybe are a little red, itchy, little bothersome, just go ahead and assume they're active and treat them. We're also going to be going over the protocol on this. So you can apply organic wheat germ oil or sesame seed oil on those scars for a minimum of 90 days. If you add in red light therapy, you'll actually get a higher rate of healing with it. And there are red light therapy devices everywhere now. I mean, everywhere. I can't believe they're popping up all over the place. You can get them on Amazon, Walmart, like all the things. I don't have a recommendation right now on like certain ones because the company I was going through, I no longer have access to. I know it's bummed. I'm bummed. I'm trying to find another one. So I'm not going to tell you, like if you get it from China, there's a good chance you're going to burn yourself. You know, kind of do your research if you buy a red light therapy device.
Should be experts in red.
And next week we are going to be doing mud packing, and we'll be talking about how we can address scars through mud packing. So if you guys are signed up for that, we're going to be putting mud on ourselves. The cost is $20 because we're going to be putting mud on ourselves, and and I'll be teaching you how to use mud packing for this. So that mud packing is another great way for active scar tissue. When you're using stuff, always use organic. You're working with the skin. Our skin absorbs a lot. We're trying to heal the body. We don't want to throw in a new fire. A minimum of 90 days. This is a big one, this next page. For those of you that are on Facebook, I will be uploading this handout on my website for you guys, for you to download when I do the video. So make sure you go to livingwithelevation.com and the handout will be there for you to go through. But we're basically just going to go through all the different things that are on the handout. So the next one is heavy metals and chemical toxicities. The body responds very similarly to both of these, so we kind of lump them together because we also address them very similarly. But if you look at some of these common experiences, I mean anger, irritability, numbness and tingling in extremities, like that's a big one. I know a lot of people whose hands and feet go numb and tingle all the time. Insomnia, chronic fatigue, unexplained skin rashes, heart palpitations. How many people do we know that have heart palpitations? Frequent heartburn. Leg cramps, pain in joints, urinating at night, like frequent urination at night. Those are just some of the things. Metallic taste in the mouth. If you wake up in the morning, you got that bitter, kind of gross taste in your mouth, probably trying to detox some chemicals and metals.
What's tachycardia? I've heard.
Okay.
Oh, that's the palpitation.
Yeah, that's the heart. Like these are some major things, right? And look around at your friends, your family. How many people have these, right? And how many different diseases are diagnosed from this? Okay. Common sources, because everybody, you know, whenever I find a chemical toxicity or heavy metal toxicity, the first question people ask me is, well, how did I get it? And my response is, well, did you live? Right? So, tap water. How many chemicals and heavy metals are in tap water, right? Now, most of us filter our water or remove that, but do you shower? Open up, you're in the hot, steamy shower, your pores are opening up, and all that stuff is just going right into your body. Okay. Now, I'm not telling you don't stop showering, please. There are filters and things that you can put on your shower. If you're in Rawlins, Wyoming, you also have to put a filter on your house. Otherwise, you're going to be going through those filters very fast on your shower. I learned that the hard way. If any of you guys online have questions too, Jez is monitoring and I will answer your questions. Pharmaceuticals, a lot of chemicals in pharmaceuticals, right? So if you've been taking medication for a long time, and I'm talking even over the counter medication. processed foods, lots of crap in processed foods. Cookware. How many of us do the Teflon? Right? It's cheap, right? Nothing sticks to it. Teflon's deadly. So with cookware, I typically do stainless steel, ceramic, cast iron. Those are what I typically cook with. Aluminum canned food. We do see a lot of high aluminum from people who eat from cans. Dyed clothing. How many of us wear dyed clothing? That's absorbing into our skin. Makeup, skincare, your shampoos, lotions, toothpaste, all that. How many of us use a fluoride toothpaste? It's a chemical from the aluminum industry. Cleaning products, menstrual products. There's a lot of people that have health issues from their tampons and their pads. You know, so if you want to like start eliminating some of these or reducing them, there's like menstrual cups, there's, you know, organic cotton pads, things like that you can switch to. Same with like personal care products. There's so many out there now, so many clean products out there now, and they're not like as expensive. Pipes in homes. If you have the old pipes, you can get a lot of heavy metals from the old pipes in your house. Not saying go repipe your house, but these are just some of the ways. Tobacco products, recreational drugs. You know, is that light bothering you? Mm. Oh, the buzzing. All right, so that's just common sources of heavy metals and chemicals. Just some common sources. Now, we live, right? We're not going to get rid of every single one of these. We have to still live life.
We're not all going to wear white clothes.
Yeah. Gosh, I'd be like dirty all the time if I wore white clothes.
Yeah.
So what do? We do regular cleansing of that, right? So we want to be cleaning out those chemicals. We want to be cleaning out those heavy metals on a regular basis because we're exposed all the time. And most people's elimination organs are not working all that great to get rid of it. So what do? We always go with whole food. We always eat whole foods in anything. When we're supporting the body, we have to nourish the body. We have to give the body what it needs to function. You want to have a minimum of 1 bowel movement a day. I don't care how regular you are if you're a once a week pooper. We have to eliminate toxins or we reabsorb them. Period. A minimum of 1 bowel movement a day. Ideal is 4 to 6 hours every time after you eat every time. That's ideal. Remember when we had babies? You feed them. A few hours later, they poop. We feed them, they poop. That is how our bodies are designed to work. But then we start adding in things like macaroni and cheese and garbage baby food and rice cereal and all this, and it slows down those. So people think if they poop once a day, that's good. Well, if you eat once a day, yeah. If you eat more than that, you want more. But we have to have a minimum of 1 bowel movement a day for detoxification. Otherwise, you're detoxing, it's going into the feces, it's staying in the intestines, and we're reabsorbing everything we just tried to pull out. I'm not saying go start taking a laxative. There are products out there, we have products in here that work with retraining the bowels to work again. So do an intestinal cleanse, not a laxative cleanse. A true intestinal cleanse will not have you running to the bathroom every 5 minutes. Okay? So we need to do an intestinal cleanse. We use HB Met tincture to do our metal detoxes. I have a lot of different metal and chemical detoxes. This is one that I can sell over the counter. And it has like the directions on here. You're going to do 1 to 2 dropperfuls 3 times a day. And you're going to take it with some form of apple, either a bite of apple or apple juice, because it needs the pectin to activate. You're going to do the whole bottle. You're also going to add in a whole food mineral complex. Okay. Now, your body is hanging onto these heavy metals because you're deficient in minerals. So if you flood the body with good minerals, it will release those bad ones. And then you take the HB Met as kind of like a chelator to kind of bind with it to get it out of the body. So if you're having a heavy metal issue, you are deficient in minerals. If your blood work is showing up saying you're deficient in minerals, iron, right? How many anemics do we know? We probably have a heavy metal issue. The body is hanging on to the wrong iron because we're deficient. You always, by the way, want to follow this with a parasite cleanse, and we'll go over that. Parasites and heavy metals bind together. So typically, once you relieve one, then the symptoms of the other one will start showing up and surfacing. So just kind of getting that. If you do a metal cleanse, you can do a parasite cleanse afterwards. Electromagnetic stress. We are surrounded by all different kinds of waves and frequencies. You know, Wi-Fi, radio waves, cell phone waves, electricity, 5G, our phones, TVs, routers, all those things. And we were not designed to wear rubber shoes, you know. And what is it that they tell an electrician to not get electrocuted? You're like the only dude in the room? Rubber gloves, right? Because electricity can't pass. So when you're absorbing all that and we're wearing our rubber shoes, it just stays in our body. If you're zapping your cats or your dogs or your kids or your husband, you're probably trapping a lot of electrical stress. So if you're zapping people, if your watch is dying very quickly, but there's some other things. Are you getting headaches? Do fluorescent lights bother you? Do you have aches and pains that move? Carpal tunnel is a symptom of that. I'm not saying that that's always the cause of carpal tunnel, but carpal tunnel can develop from this. Bruises, strained muscles, arthritis, old injuries that won't heal. If you're going to the chiropractor and it's not aligning, try working electromagnetic stress and see if your alignments will hold again. So I carry, let me pull this out. So I carry a multipolar magnet. These are designed by Dr. Brimhall to draw those electromagnetic frequencies out of the body. Okay, this is not as strong as your refrigerator magnet, but the grid line is set up for this. So I carry 3. I'm very electrical. I have to carry 3. I shock the cats all the time. But this is a very, very simple way to pull that electricity out of your body. I carry mine all waking hours. If somebody's having a hard time sleeping and thinks this might be a cause, put it in your pajamas or put it under your pillow, you know, like have it there to pull it out of you. Ground yourself regularly. You guys don't see me. I never wear socks. I'm very electrical. Or I mean, I never wear shoes. Very, very, very electrical. I'm always grounding. I will be the one out there in the winter, bundled up with no socks or shoes on, standing in the snow, trying to pull this stuff out of me. My cats, I mean, I'm surprised they have not spontaneously combusted as electrical as I am. Turn off your router and turn off your cell phone. It's distributing waves. Now, I'm going to be a hypocrite right now, okay? These, what are they doing all day? Sending signals to your body, okay? I literally just started wearing this 2 days ago. I've never worn one of these in my life. I have a purpose behind it. And as soon as I get that purpose, it's gone. But these are major. I had a gentleman come in one time, excruciating pain in his back. Trying to figure it out. So went all the routes, right? And he was sitting on the table, his smartwatch went off with the text message, and all of a sudden he arched his back in pain. And I was like, oh, you got to get rid of the smartwatch. At that point, he said, nope, never going to do it. See you later. I'll deal with the pain. But if you're doing this, by the way, if you do wear a smartwatch, always on your right hand, never on your left. Never. You do not want to. Your left arm, that's that electrical flow to the heart. We don't want to be messing with that. So yes, I'm hypocritical. So turn off your router, cell phone, get those. There's no point. You're not going to be on the internet if you're sleeping.
Most of us use them for alarms. Your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Analog, girl.
Yeah.
Like a little,
Yeah.
same with your watches and stuff. If you need to know the time, get you that old.
I
Runs
don't
on
have
batteries.
mine- I don't have mine in my bedroom ever.
Yeah. It's just anything you can do to reduce. There's a ton of things that you can do for this. Like you can do a quick Google search and come across a ton of products. You can get like magnets in your blankets and stuff. Like there's, you can use shungite, things like that. When you're wearing like synthetic clothing, that can also create a lot of electricity that you're absorbing too. So wearing like cotton, cotton clothes and stuff will help reduce that. All right, immune system challenges. So I normally work with 4 different immune system challenges. I work with parasites, I work with yeast, I work with viral, and I work with bacteria. Okay? I'm going to go over yeast and parasites. Just look at that list. For those of you online, see that? All these dotted lines? Those are all the symptoms, common symptoms. There's more than this for yeast or parasite issue. Most of you have done my classes before. You've seen this list over and over and over again. You two are new. Look at those lists. How many of them can you check off? These are 100% the most common. Almost everybody has a yeast or parasite issue. If you've ever done an antibiotic, if you've ever eaten processed food, if you've ever eaten lots of sugar, even natural sugars, fruits, potatoes, things like that. If you eat lots of bread, things like that, you are feeding this problem. This was my problem. This is what caused 5 incurable diseases for me. And when I got rid of this, magically all the symptoms disappeared. Like there are so many. One of the biggest ones, you got somebody who can't function past 10 o'clock in the morning. More than likely they have a major yeast issue. Major gut imbalance. They're having heartburn. Heartburn can also be food, but parasites love to cause heartburn. If you have any of the intestinal diseases, I would wager a bet that you have parasites. If you're missing a ton of organs, I would reckon you got a ton of parasites because it starts destroying flesh. If you have an autoimmune disorder, I bet you have yeast. Well, or parasites because they both cause leaky gut. Any of those. But look at this, like, oh, and here's the thing. Everyone says, oh, if we get a parasite, you're skinny. No. Not all of us get the 8-inch tapeworm. We get the other ones that make us nice and fat. If you have mineral deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies, maybe something's eating it, like yeast or parasites. That's a huge list.
Huge list.
That's a huge list. For those of you online, before I put this out, go to my website, go to resources, and pull up the Candida yeast answer.
There's a lot of crossover in these lists too.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover. But look at like heavy metals.
Yeah.
Parasites and heavy metals bind together, so
Yeah.
you'll have similar symptoms for both. So the protocols. These are the different protocols. So we do a yeast elimination diet, phase 1 foods. It's available here. It's available on our website. We stop feeding the problem. Because if you're eating processed foods, if you're eating breads, if you're eating oranges, if you're eating potatoes, you are basically pouring gas on the fire. This is why I'm not big into one-size-fits-all diets. I'm not big into one-size-fits-all food plans. for me, I switched to whole food. I was eating Whole30 and my health was going like this. And I thought, why am I getting worse? Why am I getting worse? I'm eating really healthy. Well, I love sweet potatoes. I was eating an enormous amount of sweet potatoes and I was feeding the problem, making the problem a lot worse. I was eating oranges and grapes, all the really high sugar fruits. So our phase 1 food plan, we stop feeding the bugs. Okay. Again, have a minimum of 1 bowel movement a day. How are we going to get them out if we're not pooping them or peeing them out? Do an intestinal cleanse. If you're going to do any of these cleanses on your own, if you're working with me, we discuss when it's time to start doing an intestinal cleanse. If you're doing this from home, this is where you start, is with an intestinal cleanse, cleaning out that elimination channel so you can get rid of everything that you're going to detox out. So you're going to take either Proactive or Yeast Redux and Bioflora, which is a pre and probiotic. Or you can look at, we did the Restoring the Gut Microbiome class, which is available on the website, where we talk different protocols to bring back that gut flora and the different systems. But if you just want a quick cleanse, this is it. If you're going to do a parasite cleanse, start the week of the full moon. Ever wonder where werewolves came from? How many people lose their mind around the full moon? How many people you think got parasites running around just wreaking all kinds of havoc? They get very active at night. Very, very active at night and during the full moon.
Crazy dreams.
Yeah, crazy dreams. If you have vivid dreams, parasites. If you see floaters in your eyes, parasites. What was your diagnosis of all your floaters?
Ocular migraines.
And when we did a parasite, what happened? Or parasite cleanse?
They went away.
Simple, right? Simple. Simple, simple, simple. Your nose itch a lot? Do you always find yourself, or your ears, or, your anus? Remember when we had, so some of us, maybe not everyone, but remember when the kids were little and they would talk about putting duct tape over your child's anus to get the pinworms? Well, you were even a little kid teacher.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, pinworms are actually like really, really common with kids.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you know if you have it? You put tape over their butthole, and if you pull it off, and you see them.
Worms. Yeah.
Worms in their butt, yeah. Hannah Kroger has a book called Parasites, the Enemy Within. It has little child drawings in it. I love it because she speaks English. It's a terrifying book, by the way. So, with that, I was dealing with a parasite, and I don't normally care what kind of parasite, but this one I was having a hard time getting rid of, and I was reading her book, and it said, pour milk in a bath, and sit in the bath with the milk, okay? This is for you milk drinkers out there, and cheese lovers, okay? The parasites will start crawling out of your body because they are attracted to the milk. And I always thought I was a badass. Not gonna lie. I am not that tough. We had to do other routes. But no, parasites love milk. Love milk. What?
Just ruined cheese for me.
Yeah, I'll ruin all kinds of stuff for you. Like all the pus that they allow in the milk.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so if you just want to drink a whole gallon of pus, because it's a huge percentage, by the way, of pus in your milk. I ruin all kinds of things.
I said yes.
Lots of pus. Lots of pus. So where was I going? Oh, I was talking about parasites. So yeah, if you have any like itchy, but also like rashes and stuff can be an indicator of parasites and yeast. Our skin is our third kidney. It's one of our biggest filters. And when that stuff overgrows, it tends to come out. So look at somebody who has like psoriasis, eczema, what's some other skin disease names? I just don't really, all the skin stuff. Rosacea. which is a precursor to lupus, right? Rosacea is typically yeast. So, how simple. Lupus is horrific. Horrific. What if you could get on top of it before it happens, right? Start cleaning out the gut, restoring the gut. I'm not saying it is always yeast. Other things could be the cause, but typically that's what we see. Okay, so those were main ones. Now I know I brought up earlier that viral and bacterial we also look at. Now those I can't do really a protocol because we approach them much differently. But you could have a long-standing virus, you could have a long-standing bacteria in your body. So we're not just talking like the flu, you get the flu or get food poisoning or strep or something like that. I'm talking about we could have long-standing things. Think of like SIBO, right? Think of Epstein-Barr virus. Those are really common ones that build up and build up and build up. And those have very specific protocols that you have to work with because you're working very custom with the body. There are some things that you can do for it, but I won't put a protocol on here because there's just really no guarantee it's going to work. But a lot of times if you do some of these other cleanses, that stuff will go away, Are you dealing with arthritis?
Dr. Craig said, I won't tell you that 100% of the people with arthritis, with rheumatoid, have a virus, but 100% of the people that I've treated that have rheumatoid arthritis have a virus.
Yeah,
that's what he said to me.
So one of the I'm going to tell everyone online. So one of the gals here in the room, a good friend of mine, he's actually the one that taught me this. What you say it so eloquently.
Oh, he said, I can't say that 100% of the people that have arthritis have a virus, but 100% of the people I've treated that have rheumatoid arthritis have a virus.
Hopefully you guys can hear that because she just says it so eloquently. But basically, whenever we have like a rheumatoid arthritis client, we do typically see a virus in our office. 100% of the time see a virus. No, I'm not saying that's the cause, but we always look for it. So yeah, like with bacterial and viral challenges, like for me, one of my diagnoses was Epstein-Barr virus. They told me I would have this for the rest of my life. I cleared out the yeast. I'm clear, I'm good. The yeast was actually contributing to that viral problem. So when I cleaned out the yeast, that cleared up. Same with like SIBO, right? So that's like that bacteria in the gut. If you clean out the gut, the bacteria can't survive. Okay? So if you think you're dealing with like a long-standing bacteria or viral issue, just start doing some of these other cleanses, start pinpointing those. We have a cleanse booklet too that gives you like an order to do them in if you just want to do all of them. If you're not sure, just do all of them. Here's the thing, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to feel better? I'm going to put you on an intestinal cleanse. How many years has it been since you cleaned out that toilet in your body? I'm not talking about doing the Taco Bell diet where you eat and, like an hour later it all comes out. When was the last time that you literally did an intestinal cleanse and grabbed all the crap off the side of those intestines and flushed it out? A laxative flush won't do that. Organ weaknesses. Sometimes our root cause, we've done all these things, right? We've cleared out like the heavy metals, but the liver is struggling. And so organ weaknesses, we use a system survey, which I'm working on basically helping you guys identify organs that are going weak. But sometimes you have to show the organs some love to bring them back. That is the root. Like you already got rid of the heavy metals. Now we need those carpenters in. So now that would be the root of our problem, is getting the right carpenters into the body. Structural issues. Yeah. If you're not seeing the chiropractor every 3 months, you should probably start going. We live in a place that has gravity. And we sit funky. And we reach for things. And we do, and it can wreck your health if you're not structurally aligned, And so massage, chiropractic, all those things, doing yoga, all the stretches, getting those muscles open, even red light therapy will be helpful for you. So if you get a red light therapy device for your scars, use it to open up your muscles. But structural issues can be a root cause to your health issue. How many of us, how many people do we know that get migraines and they go to the chiropractor and it relieves it? Now, I'm going to tell you there's some other things if it keeps coming back that you could be doing to make that alignment better, right? To make it whole better. But yeah, I'm all about every 3 months seeing a chiropractor. We have gravity. I'm sorry, we are not better than gravity. Organ removals or permanent damage from surgeries. There is no coming back from permanent. You have your gallbladder out, it's not growing back. What's the animal? Is it the chameleon that grows back its
Grows back its tail.
Mm-hmm.
its tail? What's the one that grows back the organs? Is it? It's like a toad, maybe? I don't remember. Some kind of a grows its organs back.
I don't know.
Years back, my husband was watching some history channel. I don't know, something. So if you have organ removal or permanent damage, I'm not saying that you are screwed. I'm not saying that you can't do things to support yourself. There are specific things that you can do. I do have a class on my YouTube channel, Sharing Space with the Natural Lady, that I do have a class that I did online talking about what you can do after surgery and supporting the body with most common surgeries, hysterectomy, gallbladder removal, things like that. So anytime that you've permanently done something, you can still support the body and keep from further health issues from happening, but you're not going to regrow back. It's there's no reversing the permanent. Oh yeah, so I do have the YouTube link on here. Emotional trauma or trapped emotions can also be a root cause. What happens if you hear really bad news or something? Where do you feel? Right away, just right in the gut, huh? We have the triangle, right? Body, mind, spirit. For every physical thing that is happening to you, there is an emotional component and there is an energetic component to that. It's all out of balance. Sometimes we have to go from an emotional angle to heal that physical. The tissue becomes weak in the body, and everything is energy, right? Color is energy, sound is energy, this chair is energy, it's fast-moving particles, right? It's all energy. So when we have weakened tissue in the body and we experience a negative emotion, we can trap that energy in that weakened tissue. And that can be a root cause to a health issue. I have somebody very, very dear in my family that is going through major, major health issues, that experienced a lot of trauma with her father. And I told her years back when she was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia, by the way, is daddy issues. And finally, just now, is she listening to me? Because it's gotten so far out of control, and the past trauma is surfacing in her body. She's now experiencing all that past trauma. And so we spoke about, let's work on that past trauma so the physical will calm down for you. I'm not saying you have to go to therapy. Some of us talk therapy works great. For some it doesn't. But you can do other things. Meditations, affirmations. There's so many different self-help techniques to help you to overcome that trauma. We do emotional release in here, right? You could do things like Reiki. There's just so many different ways that you can go. Okay. Our first thought is always therapy. Therapy is not good for everybody. Some people don't process through voice. Huh. You're not a processor through voice, are you? I am. I talk myself through everything. Lack of proper hydration. When I'm talking hydration, I am not talking about water with Crystal Light. I'm not talking about coffee. I'm not talking about tea. I'm not talking about juice. I'm not talking about the little squeezy flavors that we put in our drinks. I'm talking about water. when we change the chemical compounds of water and turn it into tea or turn it into coffee, it's no longer water, and our body does not treat it as water. So proper hydration can be huge. How many times you get a headache and you're like, oh, I just didn't drink enough water? Well, it causes more headaches. Speaking of proper hydration, I'm like dying here. Oops. I'm spilling it all over the place. And if you have been dehydrated for a really long time, it can take you a while to get it back. You're not just going to slam a gallon of water for a few days and expect to feel better. It can take you months to come back. You have to rehydrate the body. One of the good signs of that is, do you have high cholesterol? It's believed that high cholesterol, one of the biggest components, other than like eating processed food and stuff, but one of the biggest components is lack of hydration. The cells in the blood, or the walls of the blood vessels become dry and brittle, and the liver starts creating cholesterol because they start to crack, and it starts trying to plug the holes. So rehydrating the body is important. If you feel like hydration is your root cause, stick with reverse osmosis or distilled water. It's the highest frequency water, and it will hydrate you the fastest. The autonomic nervous system is not responding as it is designed to. I work with this every day. Everybody who works with me knows I always check the autonomic nervous system before we do anything. Because if the autonomic nervous system is not working correctly, and you are not addressing the thing, like the exact root cause for that, then you can take all the supplements, all the essential oils, all the things in the world, and they will not work correctly. They either will not work at all, or they can actually make you worse. So working with that, I can't teach you how to do that, how to know that. That is something that actually we work with a lot. But I will tell you, if you're experiencing a lot of wild and vivid dreams and you're not sleeping, you're waking up all night long and your butt itches and all the things, I would bet parasites are probably affecting your autonomic nervous system. Do a parasite cleanse. Right? Do an intestinal cleanse. Do something. But yeah, the autonomic nervous system, we do it through nutritional kinesiology. Some practitioners use a heart rate variability machine. You can use a combination of the two. If you're not sure, if you're wondering, okay, so here's the thing. So have you tried really high quality products? So maybe I don't feel good, and I am taking ashwagandha for my hormones, and I'm experiencing nothing, and it's a high quality ashwagandha. So I'm not talking about Walmart City Market. I'm talking about something that you paid some money to get high quality ingredients, and it's not working at all. I would bet your autonomic nervous system's shut down. We blame the product, right? We say it's a bad product. I always tell people, no, it's you. Or, here's a big one. How many of us have all kinds of energy at work, and the minute we sit on the couch, we crash? We're done. That's usually the autonomic nervous system is not functioning. Or if you ever feel like you're sitting at a stop light, just revving your engine and not going anywhere, that's your autonomic nervous system. Or if you take something that's natural and you get worse, more than likely, that's your autonomic nervous system. So those are some of the key things.
So you tell us we're switched or blocked or
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we work with blocked and switch regulation in the office. Blocked is when the body is shut down, and switched is when we just don't know what we don't know how you're going to respond. Now, I have a lot of people ask me about that says, well, when I take my medication, that works as it's supposed to, but when I take an herbal or, a whole food, or I use essential oils or something, and that doesn't work, because here's the thing. Medications are a chemical compound. They force the body to do something. That's what medications do. Whole foods, essential oils, herbals, homeopathics, any of those natural products are actually designed to work with the body. They do not force the body to do anything. So if the autonomic nervous system is out of whack, it can't force your body to do something where the pharmaceutical can. I'm not saying go take a bunch of pharmaceuticals. I'm saying correct. Start cleansing. Put out fires. Just start putting out fires. That's all I'm saying. Just put out some fires and notice how much your body will change.